Alpha Plantations is a palm oil plantation located in Malaysia, consisting of a palm oil estate and one palm oil mill. Since its formation, most managers have been recruited from the UK, including many ex-soldiers and police officers joining up. Mr. Ang first joined the mill at the age of 15 and rose through the ranks to become one of the most senior non-managerial staff members at Alpha. Mr. Ang always ran a tight ship and did not let anyone forget it. His superb technical competency helped him to keep the mill in top shape, receiving the highest appraisal ratings from the mill manager, who appreciated his firm, almost military-efficient way of running the mill. In 1999, the palm oil industry in Malaysia faced many challenges. Captain Chubb, a mill manager, was at a loss as to how to improve performance. "We are doing nothing wrong. It is the market that is killing us." Soon after, a new mill manager was appointed, Mr. Ian Davidson, a 32-year-old who was very different from the past managers at the mill. He was not a career plantation engineer. However, headquarters in London had high hopes that he would be able to return Alpha Mill back to profitability. After analyzing operations at Alpha Mill, he arrived at the following conclusions. Current performance allowed too much machine breakdown, wastage could be reduced, personnel numbers were too high, and the old colonial and hierarchical company culture was not conducive to performance improvement. He proposed to remedy the situation with the following initiatives: empower operators, install new technology and automation, and adopt more stringent performance measures. The response was enthusiastic by most, and Mr. Ang expressed his full support for Mr. Davidson's plan. When the new machinery had been installed and each shift had been reorganized into self-directed work teams, the plan was put into motion. Whenever the team faced a problem during processing and tried to find a solution using the techniques that had been taught, Mr. Ang would step in after some time, issue instructions, and take over the process. Team meetings became one-way affairs where Mr. Ang would tell everyone else what they had done wrong. Mr. Ang's response to this was to push himself harder. He was always the first to arrive and last to leave. He became annoyed about his operators' mistakes and would resort to shouting and cursing at them. Mr. Ang's mid-year appraisal fell from excellent to merely adequate. Mr. Davidson proposed, "It might help if you treated our people with a little bit more respect." After the mid-year appraisal, there was a noticeable change in Mr. Ang's demeanor. He became quiet, played a less active role, and was superficially polite. The effect on Mr. Ang was devastating. He became withdrawn and began to drink more than usual and contributed next to nothing. Mr. Davidson was well aware of the changes that were taking place and decided it was time to remove Mr. Ang from his position. Mr. Ang would now be promoted to the new position of mill executive. Mr. Ang was in head office one morning when a clerk congratulated him on his promotion. He further learned the plans Mr. Davidson had for him. This was the last straw. Mr. Ang rushed back to the mill to confront Mr. Davidson. The loud and public confrontation resulted in Mr. Ang being terminated from his position. After Mr. Ang had left, Mr. Davidson felt that the obstacle to better commitment and morale was gone, and that performance would improve greatly. He was very wrong. Team performance began to deteriorate, and no amount of pep talks could improve it. He began to wonder what had gone wrong.